Welcome to Get Pucked with Bruce and Ryan, podcast about the NHL, hockey, and just our opinions of the sport in general. Our first topic of our podcast, and thank you for joining, is going to be about the top 20 centers in the NHL going into the 2018-2019 season. We'll start off by going through our list, 20 to 1, and we've ranked them. 20th gets 1 point, first gets 20, and then a combined list. So we'll just get started. So welcome, Bruce. Thanks for coming in for our podcast.
Of course, no problem.
All right, so who do you have as 20th on your list of top 20 centers in the NHL?
At number 20, I've got a young player with Tampa Bay, Braden Point. The reason I have him ranked at number 20 is because he is a big-time player already. He led the league in game-winning goals last year, as well as he is very vital to a team full of offense. So I think he's going to score a lot of points going into this year.
Great. I have at number 20 Ryan Getzlaf of the Anaheim Ducks. I know most people think he's on his way out. He's at the ending of his career. Well, he is. But there's a lot of people that play at the end of their career and play at a very high level. I think this season is going to be a good season for him. I don't think he's going to be at the top in the league, but top 20 for sure.
Up next for me, I have Vincent Trocheck. He is a great player for Florida. He is one of the best breakaway players. He's one of the best at penalty kills, and he's also very deadly in the shootout. He plays big-time minutes on penalty kill and chips in about 25-30 goals last year, so I think he's going to duplicate that.
All right. At number 19 for me, I have Captain Canada, Jonathan Toews. I don't know how he is not on Bruce's list. This is kind of puzzling to me. Jonathan Toews is a perennial top 20 NHL center every season. Whether it's a terrible season for the Chicago Blackhawks or it's a great season for the Chicago Blackhawks, he is a top 20 center.
At number 18, I have Leon Draisaitl, and I echo Ryan's thoughts as to why this player's not on his list. He is an amazing face-off man. I think he had something like 57% last season or thereabouts. The only reason he's not rated higher is because he plays behind Connor McDavid. This guy would be a number one center on about half the teams or more in the league.
I agree. And that's why he's not on my list, because he plays behind Connor McDavid and has less ice time. He's a great center, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't crack the top 20. At number 18, I have Alexander Barkov. What can I say about this guy? He's a great centerman, but there are better. I know, Bruce, you have him ranked higher. Not too much, but
No.
he is a great center, and I think this year is going to be a great year for him. Just, I don't know if he's going to take off or if he's just going to flounder out a little bit.
Next on my list is Nicholas Backstrom with Washington. He's been in the league for quite a while. He's always a top point getter. He does get to play with Ovechkin. He does have great face-off abilities. He's great at penalty killing. He plays some power play. I think he is underrated, but I just couldn't put him any higher than 17.
Yeah, and he is completely underrated on your list, because I have him much higher in the rankings. Backstrom is a top 20 guy. He's potentially a top 10 guy. He could crack the top 10. Playing next to one of the best players in the world, Alexander Ovechkin, you automatically get get there. All right, next on my list is Logan Couture. I think San Jose is going to struggle a bit this year. I think they're on the downward slope, but I think Logan Couture is going to be a bright spot on that team for the Sharks.
Next on my list, it pains me to put a Philadelphia Flyer on this list, but Sean Couturier had a breakout season last year. I'm not sure if he's going to follow that up. I have some concerns about his health and replicating what he did last season, and also being pushed by Patrick in this as the number one center. So I think if he does play with Giroux again, he can put up the points. If not, he's going to make an excellent second or third line center.
I agree. I have Couturier ranked higher on my list as well. I think he will put up the numbers this year playing next to Giroux.
Yep.
Next up on my list is Ryan Johansson from the Nashville Predators. He's going to be a top center finally. He's going to put up the numbers, and he's going to fill in that gap real nice that's on the Predators.
Next on my list is Jack Eichel. The only thing keeping this guy from being a top 10 center is staying healthy. If this guy can stay healthy, he's got the skill set to be a top 10. He's always going to live in the shadow of Connor McDavid, which is unfortunate. But with the new help they've got in Buffalo, I expect him to put up some big numbers. He just needs to stay healthy to do that.
I agree. I think he's going to put up big numbers as well. Again, I have him ranked higher on my list. But I think that there is an attitude problem there.
I agree.
Vander Kane coming in, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting spot for him.
Yeah, I agree with Eichel being there, what he did with Bilesma, getting him fired. I think there is an attitude thing, but I think that's more of him losing than having a poor attitude. So,
yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think Buffalo is going to be a winning team anytime soon.
They got Connor Sherry.
Next up on my list, which I think you have him close as well, is Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin, I love this guy. He has the skill set. He could be a top 10 guy. He has that ability. He just hasn't been showing it. And I don't think he's going to again this year, but he's definitely in the top 10 or top 20.
At number 14, I have someone that you had at 18. I have Barkov.
Okay.
This guy is a beast. He gets no time at all in the media because he plays in Florida. I looked at his stats. He had 31 goals. He played close to a full season. He plays in every situation. He is huge. He is great on the shootouts. This guy does it all for an upcoming Florida team. I think he's going to have an even bigger season. I see 40 goals in his future.
Okay. Next up on my list is somebody that's missing from your list. And I don't know how you cannot have this guy in your top 20 with the way Calgary is going. Sean Monahan, he's got to be on your list. I don't see how he didn't make it. Number 14 for me, Sean Monahan. He's the guy.
The reason I didn't have him is because Calgary was absolutely horrible last year.
But it's not last year that we're talking about. We're talking about going into this season.
Yeah, and he's got a lot to prove. If he can play the way he's projected, he will make my top 20 next year. But I just don't think he did enough last year for me to give him the credit to be in the top 20 this year. I know he's going to be playing with Johnny Gaudreau, James Neal, some other players, but James Neal is known as a cancer in the dressing rooms.
Oh, come on.
He is.
A cancer in the dressing room.
That's why he's been traded so many times.
Led the Vegas Knights to the finals.
He did not
He's a
lead.
cancer
He did
in
not.
the dressing
And they
room.
got rid of him after the first season.
Because of money.
They had money to spend. They had money to spend.
I think you're a jaded Penguins fan.
No,
That's
he played his
over
best
James
in Pittsburgh.
Neal.
I'd take Hornquist over James Neal any day. I'll do that trade. Exactly.
Of course you would.
Next on my list is Tyler Seguin. We're pretty close on this one. couple, like one person in between.
Two indifferent.
Yeah. So I think this guy has amazing potential. He scored over 40 goals, or 40 goals exactly. I think he's got a lot of partying issues he's still trying to overcome.
Yeah.
I don't think he's mature enough to be a top 10 player. I feel that this contract
But
negotiation, he could be, but this contract negotiation, I think, is going to weigh on him more, and I think it's going to halt his play a bit.
Yeah. Stifle his ability, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Next up on my list, I have a guy that you have in your top three, and I don't disagree. He could be there. I just don't see it happening this season. And who I'm talking about is Anze Kopitar. I think the guy is a great player. He's a great center. He's in a funk, and it's the media attention is all about Doughty. It's Doughty, and nothing about Ansi. And he wants some attention, and he's butthurt about it, and he's just not performing to that level.
You could not be further from the truth on that. He scored 92 points last year.
Yep.
I don't know what funk that would be. That's a career high for him. So scoring 92 points while leading his team in penalty killing, face-offs, shots. He is the man in LA, and the fact that Doughty takes most of the attention is just fine with him. He's a Selke nomination every year. He is an amazing player. I would take him on my team every day, and I have him at number 4, just to spoil it a bit. But how you have him ranked out low just boggles my mind.
He's at number 13 in a top 20 list of NHL centers.
Yes, he should be much higher.
No, I think there is much better above him on the list. And I'm not saying he's not a phenomenal player. Like, you broke down all the stats. I'm talking his personality right now going into this season is going to affect his play.
I think he's not going to put up 92 points, I agree. But as an overall center, he is head and shoulders above some of the players you have ranked ahead of him.
Which we'll get into.
Yeah. Next on my list is someone you don't have, and I'm not sure why.
It was a complete miss on my part. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
This guy should be on my list.
Matthew Barzal.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year. The guy puts up points. He had 3 5-point games last season. 3 of them. One game he had 5 assists. This guy now has the team behind him. It's his team in New York. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of talent there, but he played sheltered minutes last year. He's going to have full reign this year, and he's just going to shoot up the rankings.
No, I agree. Barzal should have been on my list. I don't know where I was not having him on there. Yeah, I'm kicking myself in the rear on this one. Next on my list at number 12 is Mark Scheifele. This guy, he's probably the best guy in Winnipeg right now, in my opinion. He's going to put up some numbers, and I think Winnipeg is right up there with a cup contender. They're going to push every year for a cup.
I agree. I have Scheifele on my list just a little bit higher than you for a lot of the same reasons you said. But next on my list is Evgeny Knezov from Washington. This guy's loaded with talent. I don't like him. I don't like the bird celebration. I don't like the attitude, but he is a great player. He logs a lot of minutes. He plays with Ovechkin most of the time. He is a phenomenal one-on-one player. I just don't like him, but I can't deny where he is.
I don't have him on my list at all.
Yep,
I don't like Kuznetsov. I don't like his style of play. I don't like his attitude. And I think the only reason why he's putting up the points he is because of his time with Ovechkin. He has talent, but he does not have top 20 talent. Next on my list is a guy we already talked about, that's lower on your list. Jack Eichel. I think he's the most talented player in Buffalo. He's going to put up the points. But what's holding him back from being in the top 10 is that attitude and that me persona that he has.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why he's a little lower on my list. And the injuries.
Yeah.
You got to be in the game, every game. You can't be missing 20, 25 games and be an elite center.
No, you're right.
So next on my list, I believe it's number 10, Steven Stamkos.
Crazy.
This guy showed a lot of potential. He can be a 50 goal scorer. But lately, he's not even the top player on his team. I think Kucherov is making him a better player as opposed to him making Kucherov a better player. If Stamkos scores 50, I'm not surprised. I just don't see him scoring that much anymore. I don't see him as a top 5 center any longer in the league.
And you are what we like to call completely wrong. Stamkos, I have him higher on my list. Again, not number 5 or in the top 5, but right on the bubble. Stamkos is one of the best players in the NHL. He's one of my favorite players in the NHL. He's very exciting to watch at all times. Unfortunately, he's gone through some health issues.
Yeah.
And I think that's what stifled his game. But he's healthy. And he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. He is going to have a great season.
I still don't think he's the most talented player on Tampa Bay anymore. I think he's
the most talented center.
Yes. But I think they have to divide up their time a lot more between him and Braden Point and the other centers they have.
I think Braden Point's a flash in the pan.
He very well could be.
I that's why he's not on my list. Same with Trocheck. I think they're both flash in the pans. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being proven wrong here. But I think Stamkos is the best center on a team that's top 3 in the league.
Yeah, I can agree with top 3 in the league for Tampa Bay.
All right, next up for me, at number 10, Nicholas Backstrom. Why you have him lower, I don't get. But you have Kuznetsov way up here. Backstrom is the guy in Washington. Backstrom gets the time with Ovechkin. Backstrom is the top center in Washington.
I disagree, but obviously
you're wrong. All right, who do you have at number 9?
Number 9, I went back and forth on this guy quite a bit, but I settled on number 9 for Patrice Bergeron. This guy was part of the best line in hockey last year.
Yep.
He owns the Selke Trophy the last 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
He kills penalties. He's deadly on the power play. He plays through injuries more than anyone else. So when he misses a game, you know it's a serious injury. I just think Bergeron is the class of the Bruins and one of the best centers in the league. That's why I have him at number 9. A more productive season will come with more games played. I'm hoping he can get to that this year.
And that is going to happen this year, and that's why he's in my top 5.
Well, he's already injured. He's already going to miss some of the season.
Yeah, the beginning where
Yep.
where everybody gets their feet. But that's fine. He's still going to come in, and he's going to make a huge impact like he always does every year for the Boston Bruins.
If he plays a full year, I would have him higher, but as of right now, I'm not sure if he will.
Okay. At number 9 for me, I have your number 16, Sean Couturier. I think he's lower on your list because you're a Penguins fan and you can't appreciate how naturally gifted this man is. Kind of going back to why you were on me about having Kopitar lower on my list. Kopitar and Couturier are very similar in the way they play the game. Couturier, I believe, is younger, and he's going to be playing with Giroux. who is one of the best players in the league as well.
I agree. They were the same player. They're a similar player. Kopitar is better. He's been doing it longer. He's won 2 cups. He's more rounded than Couturier.
And he doesn't play for the Flyers?
No, Flyers does make a difference because if Giroux had been a center, he would have been in my top 5.
Okay.
But I like Couturier. I think he's a good player. I just don't know if this season's going to be the same as last season.
I think he's going to have a better season. I think Philly is going to have a better season overall. Okay, so tell me who you are wrong with at number 8.
I have Jonathan Tavares at number 8.
Wrong.
Because I'm not a Leaf fan.
Wrong.
Why am I wrong with that?
Tavares is much higher. He should be way up there near the top of your list. And I'm not saying that because I am a Leaf fan. John Tavares is a great, great center. He was a great, great center on a very, very bad team. He made that team better than what they ever were. And now he's coming into a very young Leafs team that is just, it's going to blow up. The Leafs will have the best top 6 in the league this season.
Not even close to the best.
You're crazy.
Not even close. So if I can talk about Tavares, yes, he's a good center. Yes, he made the Islanders a better team. But still, 1 playoff round.
Because he was on a bad team.
Never won a scoring title.
Because he was on a bad team.
His points per game is lower than everyone I have rated above him.
Because he was on a bad team.
As a top center, as a top 5 center, you should make your team better.
And he did.
You should be able to have the points, you should have the production as well. I think he's a good center. I just don't think he's above the other ones I have above him.
Okay. Sure.
And I hope I'm proven wrong, but I really want to figure out where your head is on your next pick.
My number 8.
Because this is a crime.
It's not a crime.
It is a crime.
It is not a crime. You're a butthurt Penguins fan.
No, you cannot claim that every time I don't agree that a Leafs fan should be number 1, 2, 3, or 4, and I think Penguin fans appreciate having Crosby and Malkin as the best players in the NHL.
Okay, Malkin used to be up there with Crosby. He's not anymore. He's still great. He's still a top 10 center in the league. But on my list, he's number 8 because of the people that have come into the league after him who are better. Malkin used to say you have a 1A and a 1B in Pittsburgh.
You still do.
I think you have a 1 and a 2 now. I think Malkin he's the very highest that you can get as a second line center. I don't disagree. He's great, but I think there are better players than him. So at number 8 on my list is Evgeny Malkin.
He has more points than almost anyone on your list.
Yep.
Above him. His points per game is higher. He had more goals than anyone on your list, except for maybe McDavid. Year after year after year, he is in the top in scoring. I will agree that he does take a night off, and he does have injury problems. But
he's had an attitude problem lately?
No.
Yep.
Kessel has.
Let's not even get started on Kessel.
Okay, so
Hot dog man himself.
You and I will never agree on Penguins and Leafs.
Never.
My next person I think is number 7 is Mark Scheifele. This guy is the leader in Winnipeg, like you said.
Yep.
He is probably the most overall talented player. Laine may score more goals. Wheeler may get a few more assists. But
he's the guy in Winnipeg.
He's the go-to guy. He is the Crosby of Winnipeg. He is the Matthews of Winnipeg. He is what I think every center should be.
I agree completely here.
Yeah.
And my next pick at number 7 completely goes against everything you said about Leafs fan was going to put them in 1, 2, and 3. Matthews, Austin Matthews at number 7. He is a great center and will be a great center. He is not yet going to crack the top 5. He's going to have reduced ice time this year because of John Tavares coming in. And he's going to have all new line mates. He does not play well when he is not with people that he is comfortable playing with yet in the NHL. He needs to get that chemistry together before he is productive. If you slot him into a line with anybody he's not familiar playing with, his production's not there. He will get there, and he will build the chemistry, but he's not a right away slot him in any spot player as of yet.
Surprisingly enough, I have Matthews at my number 6. I have him rated one more above you.
Yep.
The reason I have him rated so high and above Tavares is he controls the game more than Tavares does. He can take the puck and do what he wants with it. He scores 40 goals his first season, 34 last season in 63 games.
Yep.
He does not play on the power play. He has very, very reduced power play time. With Tavares, he's going to get more power play time. They're going to implement the same thing they do in Pittsburgh and have their top dogs on the same line. You're going to see Matthews, you're going to see Marlowe, you're going to see Tavares, Nylander, and I don't know who they're going to put in as a quarterback because you have no defenseman.
This isn't top defense.
But I think Matthews can control a game like very few can in the NHL, and I think he's close to a perennial 50-goal scorer.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think he is going to be that.
And I think he's played with the line mates enough that he will be slotted in at number 1 or number 2
already
and still be fine.
Already in training camp, he has no chemistry with Marlowe, and that's who he's supposed to be playing with this season.
Yeah, it'll come.
It's been every time they've paired up in training camp, there's no chemistry. So, and Hyman's supposed to be playing with Tavares and Nylander.
Well, I hope he has a great year. I hope this team is a solid 4th place finish in their division.
That's what you think. Yeah.
No, it's what I hope. It's not what I think. It's what I hope.
No, so we have Matthews like slotted back to back here. So I have him 7, you have him 6.
Yeah, it's a coin flip.
Yeah, my number 6 though, and we talked about him earlier. Steven Stamkos. Come on. He's a great center, like I said. He's one of the best entertaining players to watch in the league. His speed is great. His power on his shot is great. That drop to a knee, one-timer, that's great to see.
Yeah, but everyone's doing that now.
Because of him. It's because of him, and you can't deny that. I think this year is going to be his year. I think Stamkos is going to be pushing for one of the top trophies, and we'll see. I really think this is his year, coming in with a chip on his shoulder about the playoff performance, and we'll go from there.
All right, so next on our list, we both have...
we agree on something.
Yeah,
wow.
We have Nathan McKinnon at number 5. My reasons are I actually would have had him a bit higher, but I don't know if he's going to, again, duplicate the year he had. Yeah. Colorado, if you look at their past, they're a very up-and-down team. Yeah. You don't know what you're getting. Plus, he was hurt last year. He had the second-best points per game ratio next to Connor McDavid. So that shows that he can put up points no matter what he's doing. I just hope that he has the same chemistry with Rantanen that he did last season. And if he does, I think he might challenge for the scoring title this year.
It's quite possible. I have him up there at number 5 for the exact same reasons you just said, Bruce. He's a great player, playing on not the best team, but he's putting up great numbers. And I think he's going to do it again. With some of the changes that Colorado's put in, I think he's going to thrive with that. And he's a definite leader on his team.
for sure. And I think with some of the guys they brought in, like Matt Calvert and Ian Cole, their defense is going to be better, and he's not going to be expected to play.
Exactly. He can focus
minutes.
more on his offense
Yep.
as opposed to playing the two-way game that he's great at.
Agreed. Next on my list at number 4, which we talked about, is Kopitar. And I've already given my reasons. This guy is an absolute monster. He had 92 points last year. Face off, he was above 55%. Penalty killing, Selke Trophy nominee. This guy does everything for a team that couldn't score goals, for a team that wasn't great defensively. They had a weak year. After Doughty and Kopitar and Quick, you're kind of hard pressed to name a few players on this team because he is the leader of this team. It is no one else's team. He controls it.
I disagree with that. It's Doughty's team. Kopitar is a strong second on the team, but it is LA is Doughty's team now.
Well, who's got the C? Kopitar has
for
the
how
C.
long?
He's had it for a few years, and
no,
I think
it's not going to continue.
He'll have it for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
He is the leader of this team. Don't get me wrong. Doughty is great, and he is the leader as well. But Kopitar does it. He's more of a silent assassin. You don't hear a lot about him. Doughty's more outspoken. Kopitar is, kind of laid back a bit. I just think he's phenomenal.
Okay. So we can agree to disagree on Kopitar. Maybe I'm biased. I feel like LA's the new Chicago. That they have the talent and they're not going to get very far. Anyway, at number 4 on my list, how this guy's not in your top 5, with everything you said about him, even though he's injured, Patrice Bergeron. How is he not there? He is, like you said, every year Selke Trophy winner or candidate.
Yep.
Every year topping this, every year topping that. He's a top guy. How is he not in your top 5?
Because he doesn't play top guy games. He gets injured a lot.
Yet still finishes with nominations for the Selke, other trophies. He's in the top of his position almost every year. If you poll the players, I'm sure they're going to list Bergeron in the top 5.
Quite possibly. I just think when I'm going into the season, what I'm looking for is someone that's going to compete for the full year, someone that's going to put up a lot of points. His points per game were great.
Mm-hmm.
Kopitar put up a lot more. So did everyone else above him. I just think that Bergeron, health is always an issue. And I don't know if Marchand and Pasternak are going to duplicate what they did. And they've got a lot of rookies pushing for top line minutes as well.
Yeah, but look at what Boston did last year.
Yeah.
I think Boston's going to be one of those tough teams again this year. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year, but I think they'll push. So here we go with the Penguin show. Let's bring it home with our top 3, Bruce.
Top 3, I have Evgeny Malkin at number 3. Ryan hates Malkin. I don't know why. Maybe it's the 3 Stanley Cups, the Art Ross, the Hart trophies, all the other individual awards, the constant points per game of over 1. Malkin does take nights off. I'll be the first one to admit that. He takes a lot of bad penalties. But when you're talking who you want on your team, this guy's the number 1 center on about 27 other teams.
I don't disagree that he's a number 1 center on 27 other teams. I don't like Malkin for his attitude and how he takes nights off. What you just said about Bergeron, how you want a guy that can compete every game, I want that too. And Malkin is not that guy.
There's a difference between competing and being able to play. Bergeron gets injured a lot. Malkin has had injuries as well.
Yeah.
But I think once you go into it and you're looking at who's going to put up the most points, I don't know how you can pick a bunch of people, 8 people that are going to put up more points than Malkin.
You brought James Neal into the conversation. I'm bringing back Phil Kessel. Since Phil Kessel came into the Penguins, Malkin is starting to do a bit of a nosedive with how he acts. I feel like Malkin's picking up the Kessel attitude.
But he's not being affected by his points.
Yet.
He had 98 points last year. How many people had more than him?
Not many.
5?
Yeah.
Right? So when I look at who's going to put up big points, who's
But that's not what we're saying.
No, I know. And who's most talented? It's Malkin, ahead of almost everyone in the league for most talent.
And you're entitled to that. Just Bruce is a Penguins fan.
And at number 3, Ryan has
John Tavares,
who's never won any. Oh, sorry, he won that one playoff round against Florida 3
on
4
a
years
terrible
ago.
team. Now he's finally home where he belongs, at the number 1 slot in Toronto, the mecca of hockey. This man is going to come in to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's going to bring that legitimate number 1 top elite center that the Leafs have been looking for. I'm going to say before Sundin, but everybody says since Matt Sundin. Matthews, yes, will be that guy. He is not that guy right now. John Tavares is the right now. Matthews is the future.
Okay.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2 is...
We agree.
Yeah.
Again.
Sidney Crosby.
What? He's
lot-
not number 1?
A lot of my criteria that I've mentioned is how many points are they going to score? What do they do in a season? So that's why Crosby's number 2. He's now an 80 to 90 point player. Last 3 seasons he's been at 85, 85, and 89. So he's still putting up more points than a lot of players in the league. But he's not at the number 1 level that our number 1, Connor McDavid's at. Do I think he's the best all-around player? Yes.
Crosby.
Crosby is the best all-around player. If I'm picking Game 7 Stanley Cup Final, I'd probably pick Crosby because he's won. He's, better face-offs.
Better team player.
Yeah, but right now, McDavid, well, I don't know.
We'll finish talking about our Crosby here.
Yeah.
Because we both agree that Crosby's number 2 on our list. Yes, I think Crosby's that guy that you want in any situation, in any game. But right now, positionally, he dropped a step. Connor McDavid is ahead of him.
I disagree with that he dropped a step. It's Connor's at another level.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Connor jumped ahead of him.
Yes.
Right. But Crosby, he is still great, and this 1-2 could flip-flop all year this year.
Yeah.
The only reason why, to be honest, I think Crosby is the best player in the world right now, and I don't like the guy. Being honest, I'm not a fan of Sidney Crosby at all, but he is the best player in the world right now. McDavid only jumps ahead of him on this list for me because McDavid is the best player in the NHL right now, playing on a team that cannot play together. And there should no excuse for it. The Oilers have all the talent in the world, yet they aren't successful. And it's because they can't play as a team. But McDavid somehow finds a way through and knocks it out of the park every game.
And just to elaborate, because I imagine once we have listeners, I don't think we'll have any for a while, but
what do you mean?
There might be some confusion. We're saying Crosby's the best all-around player, but McDavid's the better center. The reason I say that is when you look at them one-on-one, McDavid's faster. He's going to put up more points. McDavid is a better player in terms of individual stats and metrics. Yes. Crosby makes everyone around him better.
Exactly.
Kunitz, Dupuis, Sherry. Yeah. We'll have to see on Gensel. But McDavid, he's great. He's not making anyone around him good.
Strap some skates on me and put me next to Crosby, and I'm scoring 30 goals a season.
Exactly. So watching McDavid play is a total joy. I've never seen someone faster than him, and I'm talking Paul
with
Coffey,
the hands.
Mike Gartner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen the speed, just never the hands.
Yeah,
At that
ne-
speed.
Yeah, exactly. He combines everything.
Yeah.
But like Brian said, you could flip flop. If Crosby goes out and scores 100 points this year, McDavid scores 95.
Yeah.
Then maybe Crosby will be that number one positionally.
That's our race this season. It's going to
Yep.
be Crosby, McDavid all year. That's going to be the race.
So that's our top 20. A lot of disagreements. A lot of
some surprising agreements.
Some.
Yeah.
McKinnon sticks out at number 5.
Yeah, that's a big one for me, I think.
I'm just going to say a couple that I find are too high, and I hope I'm wrong. Tavares at number 3. I would never have him at number 3.
Crazy.
I see where Ryan's coming from. The potential is there.
He's going to have the top line minutes on
I think
a way better team.
I think what's going to happen, though, is hometown pressure might get to him.
No,
that's
he's
the
going to thrive.
only thing I'm concerned about is hometown pressure.
Thrive.
We've seen players go home a few times and just not be able to succeed. I hope he does well. I hope the Leafs do well because, 1967 wasn't yesterday.
Come on.
But that's really my biggest surprise that he was ahead of Matthews and in at number 3.
And Malkin, of course. But.
I know, I can see the players ahead of Malkin, and it's not horrible. I definitely have a different opinion. I watch the Penguins every game, so I see.
Like I watch the Leafs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you may see highlights of Malkin taking the night off. I may see highlights of Matthews not doing something.
Bobbling, yeah.
So, we are homers. I am a Penguins fan.
Of course we are.
I do put hockey above being a Penguin fan, or else I would have had Crosby at number 1. And
Malkin number 2.
Colin number 3. Sheehan number 4.
Crosby number 5.
But that's our list.
Yeah, no, I agree, Bruce. I think we pretty much covered all the top players anyway.
Yeah.
And we're going to break it down. We did some weighting. Shout out to our stat guy, Kyle Timmons. Follow him on Twitter at K_Tim. He'll like that. I've called him the stat bitch, but hey. Language. So we'll go through our top 20 combined. We did some weighting, like I said earlier at the beginning. Number 1 got 20 points. Number 20 got 1 point, and everywhere in between. So at number 20, we have Logan Couture. At number 19, Ryan Johansson.
At number 18, Sean Monahan. At number 17, Barzell.
At number 16, Kuznetsov. At number 15, Barkov. It's like we got back-to-back Russians here.
Number 14, we have Seguin. And number 13, we have Backstrom.
Number 12, Jack Eichel.
Number 11, Sean Couturier.
Number 10, Mark Scheifele.
Number 9, Kopitar.
At number 8, Steven Stamkos.
At number 7, Austin Matthews.
At number 6, and I'm happy about this one, Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm upset about that either. At number 5, actually tied for number 4, is...
we have a tie for number 4 and 5 here.
Is Evgeny Malkin.
And John Tavares.
Yeah.
And our number 3, which this makes me happy as well, Nathan McKinnon.
Number 2 is Sidney Crosby.
And of course our number 1,
Connor McDavid.
Yeah. So that's our top 20 centers going into this season of the NHL. We hope you enjoyed the listen, and thanks for joining us. And hopefully you can keep on listening, and we'll keep on doing this as much as we want.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.